Hey everyone, and welcome to my review for seasons 1 through 3 of Stranger Things. Okay, with season 1, it kind of came out of nowhere. My expectations were very low. I didn't know what it was, and I was very, very surprised on how good it was. It's very much influenced by 80s, so I saw a lot of Steven Spielberg, Stephen King, John Carpenter. I remember some people saying that it's like if Steven Spielberg directed something from Stephen King. And they got a really good point. It does have the Stephen King mentality when it comes to scary things, and Spielberg, he tends to work with a lot of kid actors, but in his movies, whenever there is a kid actor, they're mainly good, exception being Jurassic Park, because I don't really care for that one. But they give a really good performance, like E.T. So in this, it's set in 1983 in Hawkins, Indiana. And it's a group of kids who kind of have their own problems. They snip at each other a couple times, but they love playing Dungeons and Dragons. When one of their friends goes missing, and so the entire town is trying to find him, but they're not. The kids aren't giving up, and they stumble upon a girl named 11 who has telekinetic powers. And so this series, or this season, I think was only meant to be a one-off. They weren't planning on making more, but then it did really well, so they had to make more. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought the acting was really good. The score was just one of my favorite things. Very, very, very Carpenter sounding, synthesized soundtrack. Some characters in there you want to punch in the face. But it was a fun show. It definitely gave that Spielberg adventure style where you're no one is really going to help you, or no one's really willing to help you. So you kind of have to do it in your own hands. You have to take care of it. But with Stephen King, he gives you, this very much is has a lot of Stand By Me in it. Firestarter in some ways. So it's very, very, very well done. And with Millie Bobby Brown as 11. In season 1, she really didn't say a whole lot. She just she didn't have a whole lot of dialogue. But man, she really messes some people up, especially towards the end of the season. And with the end of the season, the last episode, it has a very, very strong emotional attachment to it. And it cuts back and forth between the kids in 11 and the missing kid, Will, and his mom and the chief of the police, Hopper. So it cuts back to the two of them, and at the same time, there's a really nice emotional attachment going on, and it was really emotional. So it was really, really well done. So if they did make more, great. If not, that's okay. But due to the success of season 1, they made season 2. Okay, with season 2, they established they got Will back, but the past is kind of is still there. It's still haunting him. But with this, they introduce some new characters, like Max, who is a new kid at the school they go to, and this is where I kind of had problems. With the introduction of Max, I think she was mainly created to have a love triangle in there, but mainly to cause problems and bickering between the boys, mainly Mike, Dustin, and Lucas. So it was kind of like, well, you're really only here to do that. So it's like, well, you can kind of get out of here. Season 2 is not as strong as season 1. But one of the strong points that I did really love was in that episode. The boys dressed up as Ghostbusters, and I thought that was just awesome. And I really just wanted to when they go to their school, they're the only kids that dressed up for Halloween at their school, and everyone just starts making fun of them. I wanted to punch every single kid there because it's Ghostbusters. It's my favorite. And to that kid that called them nerds, you suck. So this I think was a good season. But when they do try to establish more with Eleven's past, which was supposed to set up a spinoff series, which didn't work. And a lot of people said that that episode is not only the weakest episode in that season, it's the weakest episode in the entire series. And I would have to agree, because it feels very out of place. And a little bit forced, that like we're forcing this on you. After the season, they were supposed to kind of do something with like what The Boys did, or like with Mandalorian did, where you had your main show, but they created spin-off shows. But they were like, yeah, this isn't going to work. So that idea got scrapped. So honestly, if you wanted to, you can skip that episode. It's just the main difference is 11 looks different, but that's it, because they don't go back to it at all in season 2, or even in season 3. They don't go back to it, so it feels very out of place and very forced. Good season. It was a good follow-up to season 1, but not as strong as season 1. But due to the popularity and the success of season 2, they did season 3. Now with season 3, I think the idea is good. This is definitely when the kids are getting older and starting to get into teenage years. So I kind of see the series stopping, and they are stopping. They're stopping at season 5. Because with the kids, it was, you wanted like a young audience, or not just a young audience, but like young characters. And now that they're kind of growing up, it's like you're losing that feel. Very much like what Walking Dead did with Carl. He basically grew up with the series, and then just got older, and it was like, he's not a kid anymore. So some of like what you liked to see was gone, because it's like he's older. It's very much the same thing, same boat as season 3. And in season 3 is when they start bringing in Russia, and that they have a secret experiment, and it's not good. So I think season 3, to me personally, was slightly better than season 2. A lot of people said that 3 was weaker than 2. To me, I think that season 2 episode where it was just all about 11 and her past, and it just didn't go back to Hawkins. It felt like a fork in the road. But with season 3, there is no episode like that. But it's I think personally, I think I liked season 1 the most, then season 3, then season 2. Because season 1 started off so high and so strong that a lot of people had expectations for next seasons. And the fact that season 4 has been split up into 2 parts, it's we're going to see how crazy this gets. So we'll see. We'll see this year. But Stranger Things is definitely a show that I really liked. When I did rewatch it, I kept going back to season 1 because to me it was just the most memorable. But overall I liked it. Season 1 I would give great. Season 2 I would give average, and season 3 I give average. So it's it definitely was something that I wasn't planning on watching, but then it's influenced by 80s stuff, and I love the 80s. Shut up. Yeah, I really liked this show, and season 4 and 5 will be the last 2 seasons that they do. So it's kind of sad to see them go, but again, it's like Walking Dead, where they grew up with the show. So we'll see how it ends, and that's my review for seasons 1 through 3 of Stranger Things. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know what other movies and TV shows you want me to review, and I'll see you next time.